You know that feeling, right? You're just completely stuck. You're waiting for this lightning bolt of inspiration to hit, but it just never shows up? Well, what if the waiting itself is the actual problem? In this explainer, we're going to flip the whole idea of motivation completely on its head.
And I mean really stuck. You know, that big project for work, finally starting that workout plan, or even just tackling that giant pile of laundry. You just can't get yourself to start. And what's the go-to excuse? I'm just not motivated. We all say it. But what if that very thought process is the exact thing holding you back?
And here it is. This is the big idea, the key to the whole shebang. Forget everything you've ever been told about needing to find motivation before you can do something. The secret, and it's backed by science, is that you have to create the movement first. The motivation? It follows. It sounds backwards, I know, but this little shift in thinking can honestly change everything.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the great motivation myth. We're going to completely dismantle this idea that you have to feel ready in order to get things done. It feels natural, it feels intuitive, but it's actually a trap. And here's exactly why.
So this is the myth we all kind of live by, right? We think motivation is this magic spark that leads to action. But the scientific truth flips that script completely. Action isn't the result of motivation. It's the cause of it. It's not the finish line, it's the starting gun. You take one tiny step, and that simple movement is what actually generates the feeling of motivation. It's a result, not a requirement.
So, how does this actually work inside our brains? This isn't just some clever self-help quote, it's literally rooted in neuroscience. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the chemical process that proves, once and for all, that action really does have to come first.
Let me introduce you to your brain's built-in go button. It's called the Behavioral Activation System, or BAS. Just think of it like this. Your brain is wired to reward you for doing stuff, but it can't reward you for just thinking about doing stuff. The moment you take even a tiny little action, the BAS releases dopamine. That's that feel-good chemical. And here's the crucial part. The reward comes after the action, which then makes you want to do more.
And here's what that cycle looks like in real time. It all begins with one tiny, super manageable step. You just do something. Anything. Immediately, your brain responds with a little hit of dopamine, giving you this spark of satisfaction. And guess what? That feeling, that's motivation. And it creates this awesome feedback loop that just pulls you forward into the next step.
Okay, so the science is cool and all, but how do we actually use this in our day-to-day lives? Well, that brings us to the really practical part, the 2-minute reset. This is your secret weapon. It's for those moments when you feel totally paralyzed by a task. It's designed specifically to kickstart that motivation cycle we just looked at.
Just 2 minutes. That's it. I mean, come on, anybody has 2 minutes. The beauty of this whole thing is that it lowers the barrier to getting started so much that it's almost impossible to talk yourself out of it. Remember, this isn't about finishing the task, it's just about turning the key and starting the engine.
So here's exactly how it works. You want to go for a run? Don't think about the whole 5K. Just commit to putting on your running shoes and walking out the door for 2 minutes. You need to write a big report? Forget the report. Just open the document and write one sentence for 2 minutes. The entire goal is just to start. And what's wild is that more often than not, once those 2 minutes are up, you'll find you've got the momentum to just keep on going.
But what makes this little trick so incredibly powerful? Well, it's not magic, it's psychology. You're essentially hacking your brain's deep-seated love for one specific thing: progress. Not perfection, just progress.
This is something called the progress illusion. And here's the thing about your brain. It doesn't really care about how big the accomplishment is. It just loves the feeling of moving forward. So, by doing something for just 2 minutes, you create this small but very real win. Your brain gets that little dopamine reward and it basically says, ooh, I liked that. Let's do that again. You're just using your brain's own reward system to your advantage.
All right, so let's bring it all home. The number one myth is that motivation has to come first. The truth? Action is what creates motivation. The tool you can use anytime? The 2-minute rule. And the reason it works so well is because your brain absolutely loves the feeling of making progress, no matter how small. That's the whole secret.
And that leaves us with one final, and I think pretty powerful question. I'm serious, look at the clock. Think of that one thing you've been putting off. What is one tiny action you can take right now for just the next 2 minutes to get that engine started? The motivation you've been looking for, it's waiting for you on the other side of that first tiny step.